If we got a show for you. Lil Sean. Broccoli, celery, gotta be VeggieTales. Lima beans, collard greens, peachy keen, VeggieTales. Cauliflower, sweet and sour, half an hour, VeggieTales. VeggieTales, VeggieTales, it's time for VeggieTales.
Hi,
Throwback,
everyone.
school,
Welcome
show,
to Have We Got a Show for You? I'm Michael Ruffino.
And I'm Liz Brody.
And wait,
Have we
got another show?
We got
What?
how many shows?
What is this?
What is this?
Is this the beginning of perhaps a spin-off podcast within this podcast that's a separate podcast within this podcast?
Is that copyrighted?
Maybe. The world out there is crying for a podcast. A podcast to discuss.
Help me. I need a podcast.
A podcast to discuss the limited run spin-off, flash animated spin-off of VeggieTales, spun off around the character of LarryBoy. They say we need a podcast. Well,
We need one.
we are that podcast. He is that hero, the LarryBoy spin-off of the VeggieTales podcast.
The limited.
We got a show for you. The limited
Series within the series.
Episode 1, Dance With Me, Lampy. Today we discuss the first ever cartoon adventures of LarryBoy.
Our first animated, fully hand-drawn, two-dimensional Hanna-Barbera
Flash animated. Yeah. Mm-hmm. VeggieTales adventure. LarryBoy specific adventure.
LarryBoy in all of his flat glory.
His flat beauty.
Yep.
And our guests today to assist us in this discussion are returning guests, Carson Elmore.
Hey.
And his partner, Gavin, another animator, also from Alabama, with a Church of Christ background, I believe. Right, Gavin?
Yes. Grew up Church of Christ. From the time I was born till quite recently.
I'll tell you what, the Church of Christ certainly does not abide by veggies telling tales from the Bible. So
no,
this is,
I've never
this is
seen
new.
this Vegetable Tales, it's called.
Something like that.
We weren't allowed to watch VeggieTales, which I always thought was kind of weird, even as a kid.
Yeah, that's like among a strict subset of parents. VeggieTales was among the among most strict religious parents. VeggieTales is okay. You're like ultra strict.
Yeah, I did not know much about Church of Christ until last time Carson was on the show and Gavin was like hanging out with us, and I decided to pry for probably a little bit too long. Absolutely fascinated. So thank you for being a good sport about that. I learned a lot. Yeah.
It's a very interesting kind of culture we got going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like very unaware of it. And being in Alabama, I was like really surprised at how kind of like shielded and ignorant I was to that entire culture. And like the insularity of it and everything. So like, that was fascinating. And because, we are in Alabama, we're recording in Alabama, the way that that's kind of like affected the culture here. I don't know if I was just like, again, just like super shielded from it, but I was like, I won't ask you to, unless you're comfortable with it, kind of like going into what that means, if that's relevant to...
I'm totally comfortable with talking about it, at least a little bit, but for anybody who's not as familiar with it, it's a pretty strict, I won't even call it a denomination. They don't think of themselves as a denomination because they're the one true church. They're the first century church that is continuing into the 21st century. And they say every other church is a denomination, but we are not a denomination. That's another thing I always found weird, even as a kid. I was like, doesn't every church think that they're the true church?
Everyone thinks that they're Orthodox.
Alabama is the
Definitely the hotbed.
The hotbed of the Church of Christ. Like most churches of Christ are in Alabama.
Yeah, around Florence, Athens, the big Church of Christ area up here.
You know exactly where Jesus would want to live, North Alabama. So makes a lot of sense, I think.
But one of the cool things about it that I actually do appreciate is the a cappella music.
Yes, they don't allow instruments, so Gavin is a very good singer.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a little more. Being in the Orthodox Jewish community, you know, we also don't do instruments on Shabbat, so that like a cappella, kind of like you're using anything around you as like a drum, is like very close to my heart, and I do love that. So like that's it's a fun little connection. But yeah, the religious diversity of Alabama, I think because of where we are in Birmingham, there's like I think like as an outsider, sometimes I still have this like really incorrect idea about what the religious climate is and how, you know, like I still kind of have that like outsider stereotypical view of what a church in Alabama is and what it looks like. And then, you know, in my day-to-day life, if somebody just like, I guess if I had like a hidden camera and made somebody watch the footage, they would have no idea where I was. So like, I think there's that part of being in the South that people attribute to like extreme Christianity that I don't really encounter and see. And then when I do kind of like touch that world, it's so like a trip fully into Narnia. That I think, again, like when I talk to people who don't live in Alabama who are like curious about what it's like not being Christian in Alabama, I'm like, it's not that bad. And like, it's not something that affects me. It's always fascinating when I do kind of like step foot in that world for a minute, and like talk to somebody who does come from one of those like, who comes from like a smaller town and like has a very like all-encompassing religious experience that's like so different from mine. To the point where like I almost feel like it's like when I do encounter people who have grown up like outside of Jefferson County and are like, I've never met someone who's Jewish before, I'm going to ask you 100 million questions. And, you know, I come from a Jewish education background, so like that's always really exciting for me. So when I like encounter somebody kind of in that opposite, I'm like, ooh, tell me everything. And usually somebody's like, I need to go to 2 therapists first. Hold on. You know, like you can look it up yourself.
I have been to 2 therapists, so I am A-okay.
You're doing really well for former Church of Christ.
I mean, it's interesting being on the outside of it now, seeing how they treat people who are non-members. They basically treat them like any other person, but anyone who was in the church and then is left is like, there's a lot of tension there.
Well, I meant to ask Gavin, what kind of animation do you do?
So I do kind of just anything that I am inspired by. Like I am trained in 3D animation. So I got my start in doing like VR training for heavy equipment, like modeling these very realistic machines. And I got bored of that and started doing more like organic modeling, worked for a video game development company and did a few games. Unfortunately, those games are on Roblox, so that's not very cool. But the games were relatively successful, and I was able to continue doing my animation and just experiment with new processes. Like I've been learning After Effects, trying to get better at visual effects for films.
But you also have developed your own sort of playful style of animation of like critters and locations for your Tiny Map.
Yes, I have an app called tinymap.app. And it's like a 3D representation of Huntsville, the city where I live. And that's probably the best place to go to see my animation and 3D modeling stuff.
And it's interactive, so that's pretty fun too.
And it's a tinymap.app. It's not a downloadable app because I don't like downloading apps. I always find that really annoying.
Yeah.
So you just go to it through a browser?
What is your background with VeggieTales, having like not being allowed to watch it as you grew up with it, or not growing up with it? And I know because we've had Carson on before that this was like a huge part of Carson's upbringing. So like, what's watching this? What was kind of like your take? What was your relationship?
Well, I guess I'm still serving actively as an ambassador for VeggieTales. So
Yeah.
quite possibly the only still serving ambassador of the program, me.
But I liked it quite a bit. I don't know why I wasn't allowed to watch it because, like, the animation on this was good. The story was... I couldn't really find anything, like, objectionable about it. I think what my family was afraid of was that there would be like some sort of denominational leanings in the in their subtlety that I would pick up on.
Calvinist vegetables.
But I didn't really pick up on any real religious messaging except for like he says God
Wants you to let go of your
Yeah,
anger.
God wants you to let go of your anger. It's like pretty much just a good, normal, standard children's message.
I have a theory about that in this particular show.
Yeah, so
We can hold off later if we want to.
yeah, I was gonna
but-
say I know this episode from TV, and they edit out all of the God mentions. So this is the first time I've watched this episode where he like explicitly says God twice in the episode, and I was like, I don't remember that at all.
They don't mention the Bible. Their Bible quote, "Don't let the sun go down on your anger," was from the Bible, but they didn't say it was from the Bible. It was from the superhero training manual.
They make a oblique reference by saying it's in your textbooks, chapter 4, page 22 or something, which is a reference to I think it's Ephesians 4:22 is the verse. I looked it up because I was like, I bet that is in the Bible, and then I was like, yes. So they make a little Professor Bok Choy, I believe.
Professor Bok Choy.
Yeah.
Is making a little oblique reference to it there. And then I also read on the Big Idea Wiki that this is one of the few LarryBoy episodes at all that mention God in the first place. Most of them automatically don't. This is one of the rare ones that mentions him. Mentions God, them.
Yeah, mentions capital H him.
Non-binary God is my...
Yeah, I was gonna say we prefer capital T them, but
Capital T them.
yeah.
And the T is for trans.
Well, you wouldn't want it to be lowercase because that looks like a cross. That was a stupid joke.
Ooh, we'd prefer it to look like a square for carpentry.
Another reason I suspect that this was absolutely made for TV is that there was a dip to black for a commercial break.
Yeah.
And at 23 minutes in, it has a short to pad it out to 30 minutes.
Yes.
Because the VeggieTales tapes were half an hour, but TV episodes tend to be 23 minutes.
Yeah.
So that was absolutely put there to stretch out this episode for a tape release, but then you could cut the short out.
Yeah, I was going to say that this is the first time that I'd watched the short also, because this one came on often enough where my brother and I would get super excited when it would come on. I guess this was just like their go-to era. It was like, there was always like that one episode of cartoon where they're just going to like play that one over and over and over again. So when you're like watching the reruns, you're like, this one again? And you get it memorized, but you're not going to skip it because it's, 2002 and there's nothing else to watch. Speaking of, I also read on the wiki, my favorite fun fact about this episode is that they finished writing it.
Oh my God, yes.
A couple of they finished writing this September 7th, 2001.
But they did not hold on to their anger, and they finished it by October 8th, okay?
Yeah.
We can't go back on what we just taught them in this lesson. We have to commit and let it go so we can finish the episode.
I definitely, because I'd watched this episode like a couple of times, and then I read the wiki and then watched it again. And then the last time I watched it all the way through, it was like, imagine being the person working on the production of this. You finished your script, and then September 11th happened, and then you've got to finish making this episode.
Is this officially the last pre 9/11 episode of VeggieTales?
It would probably.
I want to
say... It was right up to the wire.
Episode of VeggieTales is probably Lyle. And then Jonah came out firmly after 9/11.
Yeah. Yeah.
Firmly after 9/11.
Firmly.
Yeah.
My understanding is the reason that Big Idea made this show and Penguins was to increase their output because they needed more money because Jonah was costing more than they thought it would.
And he was wearing a turban, which is a difficult look to pull off during that era.
Yeah, and the immediate era of Bush 1.
Yeah.
My understanding is this show was created by, or co-created, I should say, by Disney animator. Former Disney animator. His name's Tom Bancroft.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Okay. I saw that in the credits.
Yeah, he worked on Pocahontas and a lot of like the Disney Renaissance era stuff. And Carson, what was your reaction? Because you probably caught this on video when this first came out.
I definitely had this on video because the wave of nostalgia that hit me during Fly by Night was crazy. I think I must have watched that dozens of times. I don't necessarily remember exactly what my reaction to this was when I was a kid. I do remember being like straight up kind of scared of Awful Alvin. I do think they did some pretty excellent character design on him to make him look genuinely pretty creepy.
Yeah, the character design for really all the characters, considering they're like vegetables, it's really good.
And I remember putting the mop on. I think my sisters and I used to put our like family mop on our heads. I feel like I remember doing that, and I know that we did. We I don't think we had our own lampy, but I think we talked about drawing a face on a lamp so we could have a lampy.
My brother and I both had those like projection lamps, where it was like a reel, so we couldn't have lampies, and we were like, hey, can we go get new lamps? Because
I love Lampy. I like how even LarryBoy is just like, and of course Lampy.
Hey, Lampy. I feel like they go to brunch.
Yeah, even Lampy's on good terms with LarryBoy, but Alvin is clearly.
See, it was my thing. I always, even now, like watching it, I have like a weird, I don't know. I always have like a weird soft spot for the villain, and I thought Alvin was kind of adorable with his little hands. I don't know. There's something like...
Yeah, the bell-bottom pants. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
He's so charming. I don't know.
Oh, he's having a ton of fun being a supervillain. Like, more fun than being a... Awful Alvin has more fun being a superhero than any previous LarryBoy kaiju that we've dealt with up until now. An invading force, some sort of rumor-based parasite. They don't seem to be enjoying it as much as Alvin,
No, Alvin is he's like, I am your nemesis. I'm coming for you. I only care about doing this to get you. Yeah, that was some pretty cool stuff. I liked that a lot. And I loved his little like hideout, having the little like telescoping like spyglass in the park. As soon as I saw that, I was like, whoa! Like when we first turned it on, I totally forgot that these were 2D. I was like, what? Why is this in 2D? I remember this being in 3D, but I was misremembering.
I had a similar experience.
I think I was conflating it with the original LarryBoy that's not that's the VeggieTales episode, not part of the Cartoon Adventures.
If you'll recall, Carson, the big catalog from Lifeway or Family Christian or wherever you would get in the mail, they would have all the upcoming releases. And so when I saw this, I thought, like, is this a chapter book or what? Is this like a comic thing? And then when I saw it in the store, I thought, oh, I like that. Cause I always loved superheroes. And so I'm like, oh, I'm even more down for whatever this is.
Yeah, I loved how it looked. It looked
Yeah.
really, really good. And yeah, like Gavin mentioned, all the character design was super cool. They made a lot of really, I think, creative choices throughout that.
I love that early
Yeah.
2000 thick outline.
Yeah, I kind of went like back and forth on like how I definitely was like, it's endearing and I love animation and I love that comic book style. At the same time, I was like, I wish this was just classic. Like, I like that they had fun. And then I was like, do I like this? Is it nostalgic? And I still haven't like really decided what side I'm on or if I even need to be on a side with that. But the character choices and the designs, and I was like, the more I thought about how much fun they were able to have with it, and like Alvin being able to have arms, Lampy being able to be like a character at all, like all of these choices that you really only can do in like a 2D space. It was like, okay, half of me is like, yeah, no, this is the perfect choice for this, especially because it is superhero and you get to make all these fun superheroes that are like, you get to have more fun with it. And if it was that like 3D style, you wouldn't have been able to like make the, Electro Melon as like fun as he was. And like,
The 2D animation style does not look dated at all. Like, it still looks very crisp. The 3D, unfortunately, doesn't age well, whereas 2D doesn't really have that problem.
yeah.
Yeah, it harkens back kind of further to the UPA, like Mr. Magoo, Jiggle Big Boing Boing 50s animation. That was popular in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
Dexter, Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah. It was very like
Powerpuff
Dexter's
Girls.
Laboratory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question for you guys that you might know since you are VeggieTales aficionados. Is this the only appearance of a mushroom within the VeggieTales?
No, it's not.
It's the second appearance so far. Our first is the rumor weed, and you have a mushroom family gathered in the crowd.
Okay. So that was but are mushrooms exclusive to LarryBoy?
Very
Possibly?
possibly.
Exclusive to Bumblyberg?
Bumblyberg, yeah.
Because Bumblyberg's really the only time where we need crowd scenes.
Yeah. And after I remember it was funny, Phil Vischer said in the behind the scenes of the Rumor Weed that when they were doing these crowd scenes, they needed like space fillers. So they put like a pumpkin
Yeah.
just to fill space.
A
and
huge chili pepper.
they were trying
Yeah.
like desperately to have a very, diverse crowd just to fill the background. And he said after that, he's
Peas
like,
and
no, peas and
carrots."
carrots. If you have a crowd scene, like all the crowds in Nineveh and all the town squares in Jonah and every subsequent crowd scene, peas and carrots.
Which is a hilarious joke for anyone who's ever worked as an extra.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Very good bit, Phil. I always love to give it up for Phil. Coming up with great little bits.
Peas,
I,
carrots, and watermelons.
I worked on a 3D project when I was in college that was called The Tiny Burrito, and it kind of reminded me of this town a little bit because it took place in this village called La Comida, and all the citizens were like peppers of various types. And
You accidentally reverse
I had
engineered
to-
VeggieTales for yourself.
yeah, I reverse engineered VeggieTales when I was in college.
Parallel thought your way into
Yeah.
VeggieTales.
You were like, one day. All right. Should we get into this? Should we get into the story?
Let's
Should we
strap on these
recap it?
angry eyebrows.
Yeah.
That's good.
I drew my eyebrows on today. I think they weren't as angry as usual. Thank you.
I've actually got a pumpkin with a with a unibrow right now, so I'm big on the angry eyebrow for sure.
I should have drawn angry eyebrows for the viewers at home.
LarryBoy.
LarryBoy.
And
And
the angry eyebrows.
the angry eyebrows. Yes. All right.
It's a beautiful day in
It
Bumbleberg.
is a beautiful day in Bumbleberg.
Do you still want to live in Bumbleberg, Liz?
I don't want to live in this Bumbleberg as much.
Ooh.
I really don't. I've always felt like living in this type of cartoon world would be very frustrating. Like, I would live in Cartoon Town, not this Cartoon Town. But sorry, my brain went to Roger Rabbit, and I was like, "Oh, I want to talk about Roger Rabbit so bad," but I'm not going to.
We got to talk
finish
about
my
we have
thought.
to address the cheesy breathing cow dragon.
There's a
Yes,
cheese-eating cow
cheese-breathing
dragon.
Cow dragon.
Ruining everybody's picnic, spitting up a bunch of cheese. How? I don't know.
Firing cheese out of
Firing
its
cheese
gullet.
at everyone.
Yeah, they
And,
never explained that part.
Yeah.
Nope. And they're like angry at this carrot family, and this is so silly. It is so silly. I was watching this like, this is the silliest thing.
Well, I love it's the cheese breathing cow dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
Like
This thing
every
is
town.
struck before. Enough so that Archie has installed a radar spatula in the
In
utility
case of the
belt.
cheese.
Yeah, this has happened before. So Larry has to like,
Well, then our narrator says these people need a hero.
Yeah.
And then catchphrase.
I am that hero. Halt, cow dragon, cease your cheesy assault on the good citizens of Bumbleberg.
It's like Adam West Batman, right? Just right there.
Yep.
Alan
Yep.
Moore, eat your heart out. Alan Moore, please forgive me.
You don't need Alan Moore's forgiveness for anything. Alan Moore's done so much wrong. Anyway,
Grant Morrison counterspell.
okay, so then Larry reveals in a very Scooby-Doo like fashion, rips the mask off, or the ill-fitting costume off
The
of
pantomime cheese breathing cow dragon costume.
these two eggplant boys.
Herbert and Wally. Mm-hmm. They're recurring characters in this program.
And they are part of the eggplant representation we got before it was turned into what it is today. So it's kind of an interesting, one of the last wholesome eggplants.
Was there an eggplant emoji in the Emoji Movie?
I hope so. I can't imagine that there is, but I hope so.
I did see it, but I cannot remember anything about it. It was very forgettable and bad.
I remember when Jordan Peele was offered the role of the poop emoji, he's like, I got to get out of acting and start directing. And that's how we got Get Out.
They made Sir Patrick Stewart do it.
He's like, I don't know, why not?
Yeah, Patrick Stewart can do whatever he wants now. It's fine.
I play the poop emoji.
Yeah.
I'd probably do it if they gave me a Patrick Stewart level of money. That's for sure.
I'd do it for half that.
Earlier today, I saw a clip of Michael Caine talking about, he said one of the worst movie. Okay, I'll do the voice. The worst movie I ever did was Jaws 4. It was an awful picture, but someone asked me, did you see that awful Jaws movie you were in? And I said no, but I did see the house that it bought my mum.
Very good impression. Very good. Classic Rufino.
I still cannot stop. Have we already talked about, we've already discussed this on the podcast. I'm doing it again. Have you seen In the Name of the King, Dungeon Siege?
Carson, have you seen it?
Have you seen In the Name of the King, Dungeon Siege, starring Jason Statham, Ron Perlman,
No,
and a bunch of other people who shouldn't be in this movie?
I have not seen that.
Or heard of it.
I've never even heard of it.
Burt Reynolds,
If a podcast
Ray
upload,
Liotta.
if a podcast upload date coincides with like April 1st, we should do an episode of In the Name of the King.
This is the
Dungeon
worst
Siege.
movie I have ever seen, and I cannot stop thinking about it. It's been weeks at this point. I am telling everyone about it. It is insane. It is loosely based on a video game. Might I really emphasize the fact, as I'm pretty sure I have on this program already, that In the Name of the King, Dungeon Siege includes neither a dungeon nor does it have a siege
Is there a
take
king?
place. There is a king, and the great reveal of the film, this will ruin nothing for anyone, is it turns out Jason Statham is Burt Reynolds' son.
I could have predicted that.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
how those movies go.
Anyway, so Bumblyberg.
Yeah, there's a cow dragon. That's caught by LarryBoy.
Yeah. And then we go to Larry at his day job as a janitor at the Daily Bumble.
I love Bob's position as like the Perry White of this
Yes.
office. I also love the fact that Larry is not a journalist.
Yeah. Because he's not qualified,
Yeah.
as Archie has clearly stated.
He's a billionaire superhero.
Yeah, Archie reads him what for about that.
He really does. That took me out a little bit when he was like, well, it's the only job you're qualified for.
Yeah, he's a billionaire, but still like works as a janitor.
Is the
I'm a
billionaire? The billionaire part is just like is also his secret.
Yeah.
I love when Bob is like, you remind me of someone. I can't tell who. And he holds up the LarryBoy picture in front of Larry. And he's like,
Yeah.
I just can't put it together.
Yeah, Larry really reminds me of this superhero called LarryBoy.
Who I have a signed photo of on my desk, but
A signed photo. A personalized autographed photo.
Anyway, so he's talking to this journalist has a name and I can't remember.
Lois Lane Pickle.
Yeah, Lois Lane Pickle.
she's blonde though. I thought that was an interesting choice.
Yeah, we can't get too derivative.
And then we've got Junior
Jimmy
Olsen. Yeah. Junior Jimmy
Olsen.
Olsen come in. He's like, I had a great idea for a story. And it's going to be
Relevant to the plot later.
hilariously relevant to the plot later because I, Junior the Asparagus, am Jimmy Olsen. And we get...
I attract every woman in Bumbleberg.
That's why Ma Mushroom found him.
Hey, Sonny.
I'll knit you a nice hat.
And then she comes in. She's a local inventor, and Jimmy Jr. is like, I got a great idea for a story. We got this local inventor. He's got this invention. We are introduced to the Knitmaster 3000, which collects bathtub drain hair. And Bob then solidifies our theory that all hair in the VeggieTales universe is wig hair. Mm-hmm. Because that wouldn't be practical because there's not a lot of hair, which does bring up the issue where Ma Mushroom is getting that hair. She does not appear to have any.
Well, we don't know what's under her cap.
Yeah, and fungus can have hair, right?
It can, but she's a red cap mushroom, which does not have like a fuzzy sperm.
I wonder if it's all from the one peach.
She lives with the peach. That makes sense.
The peach corn.
Well,
is
then
hair?
again, she was staying in a hotel, so maybe she works at the hotel.
Yeah, and there's a lot of corn and peaches.
Good catch
And
on
she's-
that. Yes, I forgot that she was coming out of the hotel.
Yeah.
There are coconuts that live, that frequent the hotel.
Yeah, okay, we're putting this together. Okay, her invention makes knit caps, and all I could think of was the haircut machine at the beginning of Wayne's World. Because I'm always thinking about Wayne's World, and that was fun for me.
I do like that this is Chekhov's knitting machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, great turnaround at the end of the episode.
They call that planning and payoff, baby.
Okay, so I think I've reversed my scenes, because that's kind of where we...
Well, Larry gets a call on his mop phone during that meeting.
And Bob's like, what's that beeping?
This is a frequent occurrence
Yeah.
in his office where Larry's mop starts chiming.
It's like, nothing. And then that's where he has to go into the broom closet to talk to Archie, who then is like, you're unqualified. You have to go to superhero class.
He does
Don't
have to
go
put
to
the
night-
mop on his
superhero
head.
night school.
To be clear, the mop has to go all the way on his head for him to see the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, for him to see Archie.
That is, I think, so funny because ostensibly he is using it as a mop. So he's just putting a wet mop on his head. A dirty mop in this case because he was actively mopping during the meeting.
I do also imagine this going like the codec calls in Metal Gear Solid. Yeah. You see, it's ring, 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 and then you see the two. Alfred.
And he's late for his superhero class at the community college. Seems like a dangerous prospect having a superhero class, because it's like all the superheroes are in one spot. Like, do they have some sort of like designated survivor superhero that's not in the class?
Enrollment must be a nightmare because, like, is your bank account, whose name is that bank account in? How do you pay for it? Do they take cash? Like, how do you get your credits? There's so many, like, conflicting issues. Even with,
create
like,
an LLC.
Well, I bet you Larry is not like, he's one of those students that's like not seeking a degree.
Non-degree seeking student, yeah, for sure.
yeah, it's like the American, oh my god, I literally just forgot the name of it. Oh my god. It's the anime for the high schools.
My Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia, but like VeggieTales does My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
And then Larry breaks.
Larry breaks.
Yes, he's in a rush to leave for class because he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna run. I'm not gonna take the tube because I don't want to take the tube. I'm gonna run." And then in his rush, he breaks Mom Mushroom's machine.
Well, not even in a rush. She just happened to be walking by as he came out of the closet.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
She's like, "You klutzy cucumber. I'm gay."
I'm gay.
And then he's like, "Don't worry, my butler, I mean a guy I know, can fix this for you."
Because she's not going to believe the janitor as a butler.
Yeah, the guy I know.
I like that he says butler, guy I know.
I mean,
So then he takes it to Archie. And then I think we get the scene I think we're introduced to Awful Alvin first.
yes.
But for all intents and purposes, let's just say it's backwards.
Awful
So
Alvin's got a plan.
we're introduced to Awful Alvin, who is an adorable little green onion leek situation.
I want to say green onion because he's got a bulb.
I think the bell bottoms indicate that he's a green onion, and those are like the top of the...
Yeah. And he has these adorable little arms.
He's
His little
so
villain
cute.
cape and monocle.
He's so cute. I think he's so cute.
It does make me laugh to remember how I was genuinely afraid of him as a child.
Even as a kid, I was like, this little onion's so adorable. Like, I love this little onion. I love his creepy little teeth. Like, he's so cute.
I think I was more afraid of, like, I don't know, like his ability to make the evil eyebrows. I was just like, what kind of crazy, like, what is that? Like, that part was crazy. Even now, looking back on it, I was just like, wow, that's haunting to create an entire species of living eyebrow that manifests the anger into dark energy in its victims.
I just thought they were just like a subspecies of bat. I don't know.
They make bat noises, which
Yeah.
is an interesting choice.
Yeah, like reverse Batman it.
And then he explains his whole plan to Lampy, his adorable sidekick.
Yeah, his live-in lamp companion.
Yeah, who is just a lamp with a face drawn on his shade. Like a crude smiley face. And the dedication to Lampy believing in, or Alvin believing in Lampy's sentence is so, it's my favorite. I think this is why this episode like stuck with me my whole life, because it was like the whole concept of Lampy is like one of my favorite gags in cartoons just in general is like one character like having like that imaginary friend or like inanimate friend and just like committing to that bit like super, super hard. I love that trope. And
Especially even Larry liking Larry's okay with Lampy.
Like other characters talking to it.
It is funny that they're like, okay, yeah, obviously, you know, Alvin has his problems. He calls himself Awful Alvin, but that doesn't mean we're going to disrespect his belief in Lampy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Lampy is real.
And on good terms.
He's
with
just
Larry.
very quiet. He's not much of a talker.
I like that he calls him his dastardly henchman. Alvin's grasp on the English language kills me. I love it so much. The parody of a villain is beautiful. Just dastardly henchman. And then he was like, we shall do the villainous dance of villainy to signify the imminent performance of our villainous duties. And then he proceeds to do a full dance number. And then we get this.
And the bell bottoms. The bell bottom dance. So good.
His little bell bottoms, and we get another disco ball. Then he's like, dance with me, Lampy.
I remember saying dance with me, Lampy, a lot as a child. So I definitely saw this one on a regular basis.
I still say it. Like, it's still in there.
Where I want to be, pick me up, turn me around.
Dance with me, Lampy.
I'm sure he's done the dirty dancing lift with Lampy, so...
Oh, they practice. They got whole numbers down.
Yeah.
He had the time of his life, if you will.
Yeah. But yeah, his evil plan, which as I realized watching the episode, I was like, okay, so he wants to make these eyebrows to latch on everyone so that they are controlled by their anger. But like, why? Like, what is this? Does he want to is he just chaotic for chaos's sake?
Just like enslave the town.
Does he want to what is his goal? Like, he's very much oh my god, Dr. Kraken from
Draken?
Dr. Draken, sorry.
from Kim Possible.
Dr. Draken from Kim Possible, where he's like half also very much a parody of a supervillain, where it's like he'll explain his plan and then, I guess it's funnier to have them have a Lampy and not a Shigo who can be like, hey, explain that to me again, because that doesn't make any sense.
Well, and he seems really I think his only purpose as a villain is to disturb LarryBoy. Like, I think the whole reason he wants to do this whole thing is he doesn't really care about he doesn't actually care about the people, but he knows that LarryBoy cares about the people, so he'll attack the people and ruin Bumblyberg for LarryBoy, since he is Bumblyberg's protector.
So we're kind of doing a Joker sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I like to mess with billionaires too.
Do you think LarryBoy is an ethical billionaire?
I bet you that it's inherited
He has
money.
a
That's
jet
gotta
plane, as we learn. So
In my mind, LarryBoy is like J.B. Pritzker. He just inherited a bunch of money and is just trying to help people, I guess.
oh, and now he gambles.
Yeah.
He gambles for charity.
He gambles. Yeah, he gambled and
I
won.
just want to know what happened to Larry's parents.
Oh man.
Well, I'd love to see that origin story.
Yeah, where's LarryBoy's origin story?
And I want Zack Snyder to direct it.
We don't need Larry Boy in the Snyderverse.
LarryBoy. The
I was
Snyder
thinking
Cut.
about that this whole time we were watching it. Was like, with all, like, since this is a superhero, like, what would a live action, like, gritty remake of this look like?
Gritty live action stop motion VeggieTales. That would be crazy. We got to pick an episode and try to do
Ooh,
that
that would be
sometime. That
fun.
would be really fun. The rumor weed, I think, would be probably the best one to do for that. Though the angry eyebrows would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
This would be very funny, Snyderized.
Yeah.
We'd have to put a lot of unnecessary explosions
Oh
in it.
yeah, in slow mo.
Every single explosion is a necessity. I don't.
It's a lot of speed up, a lot of slow down. It's
Yeah.
shot in 4:3 for some reason.
The tube scene would be really fun to do.
The tube scene, yes. All right, but okay, on track. We got to go to superhero class because Larry.
have to go
Yeah,
to
we
school.
do. And
To Bok Choy's superhero class.
yeah,
Is bok choy problematic?
I don't know.
I had to ask myself that a couple times, and then I was like,
Is the Scarlet Tomato problematic?
"Here's that with
Well, the Scarlet Tomato is just a ripoff of Father Guido Sarducci.
yeah."
It's Phil Vischer's impression of Father Sarducci.
So not technically offensive because it's an impression, or
It's an impression of an SNL character.
I feel like with Bok Choy,
who did Bok Choy's voice?
I didn't look it up. I was too
didn't
afraid.
either, but like
You were too afraid.
I feel like they could have gone more extreme.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like the way bok choy is done, I think, okay, I've got a couple of like, all right. So the first time I watched it, I was like, what are we doing here? Okay. Second time I watched that, I was like, I think because the accent is almost just non-American, it's not necessarily specific.
Yeah, it's not like a.
It's not an Asian caricature accent. Like it's not. They gave him like a subtle enough accent where it was like maybe he went to college in Hong Kong. You know, like it's just very subtle.
And but
It was not overly exaggerated.
He's a bok choy, which is, an Asian vegetable. So it's not like necessarily wrong for him to be an Asian character. I just, I do think the eyebrow was a crazy choice, given the rest of the episode.
Part of me was like, but okay, the first time I was like, that's a crazy choice. And then I was like, but he's mastered his anger. So like, maybe there's something more symbolic to that.
Okay.
But I think overall, where I kind of like settled on it my third watch through, I was like, all right, maybe this is just it's an early 2000s form of representation. And like, I gotta judge it for the time,
Well, I feel like
This was technically pre 9/11, so
yeah.
it was. It's a different world.
Yeah.
And I feel like having bok choy be the teachers that they're going for like a kung fu Mr. Miyagi sort of thing, but they didn't want to lean in too far.
Bok choy is also like my favorite vegetable, so I liked seeing a little bit of bok choy representation.
I've seen this archetype of character in a lot of stuff, and this is definitely like one of the more tasteful versions of it I've seen.
I really love his hoverboard.
Yes. Yeah.
That is so great.
I'll add this. This is Shaolin Showdown. This is not.
Yeah. Like
Where they had Tara Strong do a thing. They had Tara Strong just do a racist accent.
yeah. Like,
Wait,
I
was
think-
Shaolin Showdown racist?
Oh no.
The little yellow boy?
I was so young when I watched it, I don't remember anything about it other than that I liked it.
Oh no.
It's markedly worse, I feel, than bok choy.
Then bok choy. Bok choy sets a high bar for.
Yeah.
This is around the time that like Sagwa was on TV, I think. So like, and the representation of Asian characters in Sagwa, I think, was like kind of in a similar vein, where it was like done respectfully, and like not every voice actor on that show, I think, was Asian. And like you understood that they were Asian characters without them being like caricatures. Because I think Sagwa now, I haven't like gone back and rewatched it, but I feel like it holds up enough from my memory.
I loved it as a kid. I loved Sagwa.
Yeah, so like,
It was a PBS show about a cat that lived in like an imperial cat.
Yeah, who lived in the palace. Sagwa, the Siamese Chinese cat.
Siamese Chinese. I was like, what is? I remembered it was like a rhyming thing that but it's Siamese Chinese cat. Yes.
So I now have a Siamese cat who I wish was more like Sagwa. But,
Well,
sorry, Vivian. But yeah,
But this is where we meet the Scarlet Tomato.
this is where
the
we meet
Scarlet the
Scarlet
Tomato.
And Larry's like, isn't that redundant? And I was like, no, Larry, because there's so many types. You are erasing yellow tomatoes, orange tomatoes, green tomatoes, purple tomatoes. This is Larry, there are so many types of tomatoes. Scarlet tomato is not redundant. Calm down.
There are many, like, and even amongst red tomatoes, there's many different shades.
Could be a burgundy tomato.
Yeah.
Larry really showed us his
He's got a little bit of a
colors there.
colorist,
Yeah.
I think.
Where he got picked off the vine.
Yeah. I was like, listen, I get that Bumbleberg's not very diverse, Larry, but come on, man.
Yeah. And Scarlet Tomato really is just Guido Sarducci. Come to you and bring the Father Sarducci.
That was great. That was really good.
Flying and
Defying gravity. Come on.
Defying gravity, that is kind of the same thing. That is a little redundant. I think you just have one. You have one power, and it's defying gravity, and you can use it to fly, but the power is defying gravity.
I was gonna say because I feel like levitating is defying gravity, but levitating is definitely not flying.
But I think all of it falls under, I think defying if he had just said defying gravity, he could have, he said, that makes me able to fly.
But if somebody were levitating and they said I can fly, I wouldn't argue with them.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. How do you fly? You just throw yourself at the ground and miss.
Yeah. I just think that this was the scene where Larry was being such like a that guy in class, and I was like, Larry, what are we doing here, bud?
Bro.
Yeah.
You're also talking during the lecture?
Yeah, like, what are we doing here, Larry? And then Bok Choy has to talk to Bok Choy talks to everyone about anger. It's a very timely lesson.
For Larry.
Yeah, and the Electromelon is like, but anger is how I get my powers. And then Bok Choy talks him down, and then after his little spiel, he goes, hug time, and it was so cute.
So cute. And we get little Mark Ruffalo, non-Hulk, Electromelon. Pretty cute.
Yeah, what did Electromelon turn into?
Who knows?
Like a seed? Like a melon seed?
I don't really know what that was.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't really look like a melon in any form, so that was
It's
interesting.
like a worm.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, he looked like when you have a rustic heirloom pepper that's just sprouting.
What kind of melon is an electromelon in the first place?
An electrical one.
An electrical one.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think he got shocked while he was angry? And that's what gave him that? How would he even develop?
Maybe somebody used him in science class to make a clock.
Oh, that room full of vegetable-themed superheroes is just a cavalcade of industrial accidents that caused superpowers.
Yeah, this is definitely
Lightning
DC.
struck a watermelon field and did this to him. Who knows?
Yeah, you can't be a watermelon electric. It's just disaster waiting to happen.
And I do like throughout the rest of the show, we meet more of the superheroes with their weird hang-ups, and we even get a team up one episode.
Oh, very good. I want to go back and watch the rest of these cartoon adventures.
They're all on YouTube. I think there's 4 of them.
All right, what happens after class? Is that we cut back to Alvin?
That's where, well, in class is where we get the single Bible verse reference.
The single Bible verse about not letting the sun set on your anger.
Yeah. So don't do that. No QWERTY in this one. We just have the superhero manual. Superhero
manual, which is the Bible. I like the implication there. They're like,
Well, I think the superhero manual is just the letters in the New Testament.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely throughout the years, I have remembered that the line from Bok Choy about not letting, not holding on to your anger, or your anger will hold on to you. It's a very response. With great power comes great responsibility, or even just I don't know, any superhero's iconic type of inspiration, memory flashback type dialogue. Very, very, I feel like they did a great job turning that Bible verse into something that's could echo in your brain as a superhero. Pretty neat.
If the superhero manual is just the letters, did you just reverse engineer Daredevil?
Everything's my fault.
Mazel tov. Okay.
Liz, this does remind me of my pet theory that Daredevil is about Catholic guilt, where Spider-Man's about Jewish guilt.
Definitely true.
Yeah. Yep. Spider-Man's like, the world is out to get me. I can't catch a break. Life keeps heaping problems onto me. And Daredevil's like, and it's my fault.
All right, so now Awful Alvin has unleashed his angry eyebrows on the citizens of Bumbleberg.
And their character design is awesome. We love the angry eyebrows being like kind of bird bat things.
Hairy bird bats.
I have been watching Mononoke, and I was like, I think that like if you watch like episodes like 3 and 4 and then this episode, it kind of fits. It's like half expecting the medicine seller to show up. It's like these are just Mononoke.
These are like the little the puffballs in Totoro if they were evil.
Oh, the soot sprites.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just tribbles.
Yeah.
Haven't we encountered tribbles in this before? Or am I?
Or
thinking
I
something?
think at some point
Which Star Trek? We did Star Trek.
some tribbly things and
I think we compared the popcorn to tribbles.
right in the Star Trek inspired.
I like that we get straight up Carrot Harley Quinn getting attacked by the eyebrows.
Yes.
Favorite.
And she's a mother.
Yeah, well, I love Mom Mushroom still fuming about her invention being destroyed is the first to get eyebrowed.
Yeah, and then Waffle Alvin is so happy with this plan, and he lets Lampy have a look into his little telescope. He's like, "Look at my plan, Lampy."
Chaos.
He's so sweet. Yeah.
It does seem like Bumbleberg has a real anger problem.
They've all got a bone to pick with each other, it seems.
I think the most disturbing part of this episode is Bob squeezing ketchup on a junior.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dark, bro.
He's like, I hope that's just straight cornstarch or corn syrup with a little coloring. What are we doing here?
And mustard has a lot of like biblical implications as well, so either one of them is a pretty interesting choice.
Yeah, VeggieTales is take on colonialism, but all of the vegetables are just mustard stems.
But okay, what is the vegetable that is running the food stand? He also has an angry eyebrows. He has squash.
Probably.
Yeah, I think some sort of gourd. I know the police chief is a gourd.
Yeah, I think it's safe to assume that they're just gourds all the way down. Yeah.
No,
Swedish
Commissioner
police chief.
Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon, yes.
Okay.
So it seems as if Bumbleberg has succumbed to the anger.
And Archie thinks he can come up with something.
He puts Larry now has to take the pneumatic tubes
That is controlled by a button on a file cabinet.
that anybody could just press.
Yep. It's low to the ground.
But he
and
still
surprised
looks
she hears
around
it.
to see if anyone's looking. It's like, this button is available all the time.
And I love it's kind of a takeoff of the sequence in Batman Forever where Bruce has a Wayne Tower tube that goes from Wayne Tower to the Batcave for him to press.
But this one goes from where he works, which is a public space.
Yeah, well, even in Batman Forever, which is another ridiculous movie, he walks into his office and says door, and the door locks, and then he sits in his chair and says chair. And then it slides it down the tube. So
I get jump scared by that scene every time I watch it. Who made that?
When they were doing the phone call about taking the pneumatic tube, they were in the toilet stall, and I thought they were gonna just flush him down the toilet.
I thought that too, and I thought they wouldn't do that.
They would not do that.
Big Idea would not do that.
No.
Do you like the fact that he's a janitor superhero, since you've kind of
Yes, I used to be a janitor.
And you considered making a janitor a superhero in some aspects, like in our in the screenplay we're working on.
Oh yes, I'm working on a screenplay about a janitor as well.
Who saves the day from an alien invasion. So not quite the same thing, but now it can take some inspiration from Larry. I forgot he was a janitor too. I thought that was really...
That's it. Yeah, he's a janitor to keep his finger on the pulse of.
Yeah, so you can mix with the people, get to know what's going on in Bumbleberg. It's a good idea for him to work at the newspaper,
The Daily Bumble.
The Daily Bumble. Yeah.
Do you think that's like the modern day equivalent would be like Twitter, and that's why Elon bought Twitter, because he's secretly like a Bruce Wayne character?
Well, he's not doing anything good. It doesn't seem like he's trying to save the city.
I was going to say, they did that plot where Lex Luthor bought the Daily Planet.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I don't think he would inconvenience himself to, learn a actual, he can't make his kids go fight for him.
Yeah. Yet.
Yeah, that works, sometimes with video games, but not, with actual crime.
Kids aren't old enough.
Yeah.
They've not emerged from their pods yet.
Yeah, no, I don't think there is a single real life captain of industry that exists in our world right now.
JB Pritzker.
Yeah, I'm trying, but I don't really know of what maybe you could work for. I don't even know. Yeah, maybe you could work for Twitter, but I can't think of anything that would be really equivalent to a newspaper today.
No, I think the modern equivalent of this is when trust fund kids turn crust punk. I think that's really where we're at in society, where it's you can't be a millionaire man of the people, just taking an odd job anymore. You're gonna be train hopping and not for activist reasons.
Yeah.
You're going to be train hopping. So in 10 years, when someone's you don't know what it's like to go hungry, somebody's going to be actually, I do. I hopped trains. I knew this person. This is not even just me riffing. I have met this person 5 times. This is a type of person. I think this is the only person out there now. And they think they're heroes. They really do. They're I met weird people who are different than me. And it's okay. Cool.
and then you went back to Soho.
Yeah.
The angry eyebrows.
Yeah.
Are
wreaking havoc,
taking over the city, and Archibald has created some sort of technology that he thinks will work.
Spoiler alert.
It don't work.
It does not work.
I
love that there's just hands that come out of LarryBoy's belt to pull the eyebrows off.
I like that he's Archie now and no longer Alfred.
Yeah, again, too derivative. You don't want.
Yeah, he was Alfred, now he's just Archie.
And then he goes back to Alfred and the VeggieTales proper. So
yeah,
I like the Harley Quinn mom carrot says, "No, we're busy being angry."
Yeah, a line I have said many times.
I do kind of feel anytime I hear anything about the world, I'm I'm busy being angry right now. I can't do anything else.
Yeah. I'm so busy being angry.
And I love once Awful Elvin has LarryBoy cornered, his initial attempts to try to get LarryBoy angry and to hold on to his anger don't work.
The popsicle down the back? That would make me mad enough, I think.
It's gonna ruin the leather.
The chocolate syrup in the car does. I could see that. And LarryBoy is clearly a bit of a he likes being rich. He does like being rich, so I could see why he would be frustrated about the leather. But he would have gotten me with the popsicle down the back for sure. That's crazy. In my super suit? No, sir.
Not in my super suit, no. I think my favorite part of Alvin showing up is that he also has a little hoverboard, and he's got enough room on it for him and Lampy.
And LarryBoy. He's got a lot of room on that hoverboard, really.
It's a nice hoverboard.
It's like a
splurged on that.
hover plank.
Yeah.
Hover.
I kept thinking about the time I had a sparring partner once who was just like super nice, and I had a really hard time being a sparring partner because I did not want to hit him at all because he was just like the nicest man on the planet, and he was like, I need you to hit me, and he tried to be like, if you're in a dangerous situation, you know, like you're gonna have to like get okay with like hitting someone, and like you need to do this. It's for you. It's for like self-protection. And I was like, I still am like having a hard time doing this, and he was like, okay, your hair looks bad. And I was like, literally always. Like, I don't even care. And then he was like, you're not that good at comedy. And I smacked that man so hard. I was like, now I'm angry. All right.
You've done it now.
He was right. I like when Larry goes, well, that was pretty annoying.
It's pretty annoying, but...
Because I used to wake my brother up in the morning sometimes with my trumpet.
Oh.
Yeah.
I also like that instead of cursing, because obviously we can't do that, it's VeggieTales, that he just starts like freaking out with like just random syllables.
Yeah. It's not as graceful as like the Adventure Time approach, but I like it. It's effective.
Well, all of them, when they get the eyebrows attached, they like have a grunt session.
Yeah, they're all just like, yeah. And then Larry tries to like tweeze his eyebrows off. They're like stuck, and he's like, I don't know what to do. And of course, Alfred comes in and saves the day as always, and is like, you gotta let go of your anger. Is it Alfred?
Or I think he might just have a
Archie?
flashback to what he learned in class.
Right. Okay, this is the first time that Archie doesn't save him. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Larry
he
Boy's a
actually
little bit
uses
more
what he
agency.
learns.
Yeah, this is the first time LarryBoy has a thought. Respectfully.
I do think we did skip over this, and it is kind of relevant to a little bit later, so I want to mention it. LarryBoy put the fully repaired Knitmaster 3000 on the roof.
Yes, he did. That is very, very relevant.
They locked Ma Mushroom in a closet because she's...
Which is false imprisonment, LarryBoy.
Yeah, but she's got an angry eyebrow. I think she's under the influence. They basically
Yeah,
like
she's
drunk
infected.
tanked her, but for angriness.
Yeah, this is quarantine. She's been quarantined.
Right. Which also, now that I'm flipping through my notes, reminds me of my other favorite Awful Alvin line, which is, don't speak all friendly like to Lampy.
Yes, because Lampy, he tries to get out of the way in time, but he doesn't take Lampy with him because he assumes Lampy can walk, I guess. And so Lampy is just standing there innocently when Larry comes up, and Larry he just like is friendly to him, and then he's like, oh wait, Lampy goes anywhere Angry Alvin goes, and that's how they figure out that Angry Alvin is involved in the angry eyebrow situation.
Yeah.
Or awful Alvin, angry eyebrow.
I get them mixed up.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not on purpose.
But now we're back at our we're back at the what's it called, the
eucatastrophe of
The outbreak.
yeah
the climactic scene with Larry being under the influence of the angry eyebrow, but then remembering what he learned in class.
and then Awful Alvin says, enough of this foolish fooling around. His grasp on English is incredible. I love it.
So LarryBoy remembers to let go of his anger, and he does. And once he does, the eyebrows detach and fly away.
Yeah. And then
So are they
Alvin
like
gets-
a leech, you think? They have like a little mouth that's like latched on to your forehead?
Oh, I'm assuming so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a parasitic situation. It's a face hugger of sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Venom.
Yeah.
And the people below see that Larry was able to let go of his anger, and he looks so much happier
Yeah.
and better for it.
And they're like, I want to be like LarryBoy. Jimmy's like, did you see what Jimmy Jerry Jr. is like? Do you see what LarryBoy did? He looks so happy. I want to be like that too. Then he lets go and then flies away.
And then the day seemingly... One thing I loved in this episode that I forgot about...
Is that they send Alvin to Arkham?
Was that once Larry Boy saves the day and like the town is let go of their anger and all the eyebrows are flying away, Alvin's like, all right, that's fine. I don't really care about that. I just want to get you. And so he sicks the anger eyebrows onto Larry Boy. Just like, kill him. Kill that cucumber.
Yeah,
She's very
they still
Mononoke.
are- I mean, they're still pretty scary. So
I like when he's like, I'm not afraid of you, Alvin, but I am afraid of that.
That line made me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
And when they attack, he bullfighter taunts them.
Yeah.
he antagonizes them enough to get them exactly where he needs them to go with his sarcastic little Toro, which is funny because his cape's not red, but it still works, I guess. Maybe it works differently if they're angry eyebrows. Maybe they're more into purple.
Yeah,
Purple's
the
a
color
shade of
doesn't
red.
matter. Bulls are colorblind anyway.
Yeah, and I guess the eyebrows are echolocating it, so...
How do we feel about Larry Boy with a cape?
I
needs
kind
a
of like the
cape.
cape. I like the cape.
I didn't even notice that he didn't have a cape in the other ones.
Yeah, and the seat fabric.
Yeah.
Hard to animate.
I mean, for the 2D, it fills him out more. It makes him look more heroic. I mean, that's the point of the cape.
A
Like,
little more dynamic.
yeah, you know.
Yeah, I didn't even notice either that he didn't have a cape in the 3D version.
Yeah, I was like, it just makes sense for him to have a talus. I like it, you know? Because that's what capes were originally, Michael Orfino. I don't know if you knew this or not, but it was my people who created Superman. And when they wanted him to have a cape, that was because that was supposed to look like his talus or his prayer shawl.
Oh, I definitely did not know that. That's very cool. I mean, Larry did play a pretty iconic Jew in previous episodes.
One of the more famous Jews.
One that was really, dedicated to prayer. So it would kind of make sense for him to have one for that purpose.
I don't remember the Mel Brooks episode.
What am I? Is it David in the Lion's Den?
Yeah. Daniel in the Lion's
Lions,
Den. Yeah.
He did play David though.
He played Daniel. He played King George. He's played lots of iconic Jews.
Yeah.
You know?
But Daniel
We didn't-
specifically gets arrested for praying, right? So
Yeah.
it's one of the few times that they actually kind of like have some serious consequences in VeggieTales where he could die.
You know, maybe Larry is short for Lawrence and he's a nice Jewish boy, or he's Italian,
He does keep getting thrown into pits,
which
on
is
account
very
of his
Jewish.
on account of his Jewishness.
Yeah, that's true. I find myself in pits quite often.
In fact, earlier today.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe what happened to me.
So Larry Boy deflects the angry eyebrows into the Knitmaster,
3000.
and they make a big angry stocking cap.
Yes.
And then they wrap up Alvin in it.
I like that the eyes are still represented in the pattern of the
yes.
hat. That was haunting. A haunting detail.
The one thing about this episode that I was like, that seems a little like weird was after the stocking cap jumped on top of awful Alvin, Larry Boy says, "Oh, I guess the eyebrows were still attracted to anger." I don't feel like you really needed to say that. I think that was pretty pretty obvious. I know it's a kids show, but
Yeah, 4 of the
It's
3
redundant, Larry. Get him. Get him.
Who's redundant now?
Yeah.
His own redundant petard here.
be careful saying that one.
No, I mean, the Knitmaster, it reminded me of, it looks a lot like the pickle machine in Pantofel Puck. And then when the little like pickle bag comes out and like, I haven't watched that in so long. I remember there's like a bag involved that like swallows somebody, and it like gave me Pantofel Puck vibes at the end, which was also like one of my favorites as a kid. So I like that. There's a little tie-in, maybe.
Little.
Maybe. Phil Vischer, did you watch a lot of Pantofel Puck?
Does Lampy face charges for this, or is he just like an unwilling accomplice?
People seem to be cool with Lampy.
Lampy's chill. I think everyone but Larry and Alvin realize Lampy's a lamp.
So Lampy is gets to go home at the end of the day.
Maybe that's what the conflict is. Maybe there's like, a love triangle with Lampy. So they're the only ones who recognize its sentience.
All right, I guess that's the end of the main episode, right? Well, other than Larry he goes up on the rock to do his little iconic superhero monologue type situation, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and
then
they save Mom Mushroom
they
from the...
Yeah, they let Mom Mushroom.
They have to liberate Mom Mushroom from her. So there's just one angry eyebrow that's just roaming around town.
Yep.
So nobody better get too angry.
The
Yep.
last angry eyebrow.
It's just there as a reminder.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
We had an angry problem in this city and we got rid of it, but don't do it again.
There's one out there. I mean, they got to get back to like folklore. They got to be like, remember, kids, there's one set of angry eyebrows left, and it'll get you. And it's part of the like Bumbleberg. It's like the chupacabra of Bumbleberg.
I like that. Yeah.
Don't hold on to your anger, kids.
Yeah, Llorona, but for Bumbleberg. Yeah. And then they give Mom Mushroom a medal. And they're like, "You're a hero," and she's like, "A hero? Well, little old me."
Wow. Yeah, that's every old lady voice I've ever done has basically been Mom Mushroom.
I do want to say she did have a particularly good threat before she got rescued from the angry eyebrow, where she said I think something along the lines of, "You're gonna wish you were never plucked."
Yeah, you wish you never plucked off the vine. Yeah.
Yeah, you never.
You're gonna wish you never fell off the vine.
That was crazy, because I was like,
clumsy
man, that's
cucumber.
basically saying like you'd never been born, but in vegetable terms. That's hardcore.
That's like when Bok Choy was talking about when he was surrounded by ninjas and they were threatening to toss him in an olive oil salad dressing.
Yeah, not my favorite.
But
this.
but then he gave his little monologue, right, about God doesn't want you to be angry, doesn't want us to be angry or hold on to our anger. Is that what he said?
Don't want to hold on to your... Yeah, you could be angry, but don't let your anger
Control you. Yeah.
overwhelm you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let go of your anger.
Well, I think that's a good message.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that this is the episode where they mention God, but like the message is so wildly I think like, I mean, with most of these episodes, even the ones that are more like explicitly like biblically based, so you could say are more explicitly religious, like I wouldn't say any of them are necessarily, every single one of them is just like a normal moral that is like so widely accepted, very Mr. Rogers, very like Sesame Street, just like
your
be
feelings
kind.
are manageable.
Yeah, so like this is just like a good, like every kid could watch this and be like, that applies to my life one, like some way, somehow across every single board. Like I said, I remember watching this one on TV and there was no mention of God, and it made sense.
Yeah, with these LarryBoy cartoon spinoffs, you definitely get the sense that this was made to be sold into syndication.
Yeah.
As part of like a big idea syndication package. And you get LarryBoy.
Yeah.
And Penguins.
Yeah, I was very I do like when he's like then the narrator calls him the cucumber of steel.
Yes, cucumber of steel. And his cheeky little smile in his janitor uniform. Oh, goodness. And then we zoom out into the photo, the signed photo on Bob's desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, the personalized autograph.
Of the guy that looks a lot like somebody I know. I will say the only edit to Larry's costume that I noticed that I was like, oh, is that he doesn't have the little LarryBoy initials on his belt. But
No initials on the belt and a cape.
yeah.
Took away the initials, added a cape.
Which, like, I get. It's harder to animate the
Yeah,
little
keep that
emblem.
consistent.
Yeah.
But then we get, I think, quite possibly one of my favorite things that ever came out of VeggieTales, which is Fly by Mite.
With the cute little fly.
Yes.
The cutie
And
little fly.
Larry's cute little, like, not in my superhero mode turtleneck.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
He maintains that turtleneck too throughout.
Does.
His Michael Keaton turtleneck.
His Michael Keaton turtleneck. He really, it's crazy how much, like, it really does make him look like a Batman type with when he has that on. I was like, wow, you really are Bruce Wayning it right now.
I love his little smoking jacket so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I love like when he's not in LarryBoy mode, he's just like sunning.
Yeah.
He's out. In
Got his little iced tea.
Yeah. Little straw.
Yeah.
Tricky straw.
Relaxing. Gets bothered by a little fly, and then we go in for like a whole Tom and Jerry sequence.
I always liked that type of silent short where it's just one, like, overpowered character versus one character who just won't die. It reminded me of that Breaking Bad episode.
Ryan Johnson probably got it from this.
Yeah,
That's what we were talking about after. Like, I was like, well, obviously this came out first, so I'm thinking that Vince Gilligan might have watched some VeggieTales.
We watched that episode right after this episode of VeggieTales. Just pulled up Breaking Bad and watched episode or season 3, episode 10, where they spend the whole time just trying to kill this fly.
And talk about someone who could not let go of his anger. He could have benefited from watching this episode.
See, here's like where my because like things like Tom and Jerry or like Oily Coyote and the Roadrunner, like all that genre, I think my particular type of autism always just like got like scratched the wrong way, and I was like, just give it up, just stop, and like that would make me mad. So like I think watching this now is like I do love like an episode of anything with no dialogue. I love that type of storytelling. Like anytime that there's like a dialogueless sequence in like an anime, it's always my favorite episode. And I can appreciate this for what it is. At the same time, there is that like part of me that I've just had my entire life that where I'm just like, just leave the fly alone. Like,
yeah, it got really Wile E. Coyote there.
Yeah, like I'm so like. And like I get this way too with just like people in my life, especially like people who are so afraid of spiders, and I'm like, stop screaming, calm down, get out of the way, I will move it, you're acting like a child. And I like understand that people have legitimate fears and that like that's how people react to certain things, but I'm like, grow up, let me get it.
Let's deal with this.
Not going to kill you if you don't like calm down. Or people who like freak out with bees, and I'm like, if you are in its space, you are in the bee space, we just live here, right? Like this, you are outside, the bees live outside, stop squirming, stop screaming. The reason you've been stung 20 times is because you can't respect their space, and they can sense that. You're in nature, let the nature happen, calm down. And I felt the same way with Larry. I'm like, you're in the fly's house, okay? It is not in your house, you're in its house. Be a good steward, let it do its thing, get a lid for your drink, be an adult. What are we doing? There are solutions here, calm down. You literally ruined your car, which is the reason that you got angry in the first place. All right, it was the leather the first time. You full on flipped your car because this little fly when you went into its space. All right, this is ridiculous. Calm down. All right, it is a fly. If you wait literally 10 hours, it'll be dead anyway.
Liz is legitimately crashing out. You better be careful of the angry eyebrows are going to latch onto you.
One of the
Liz.
most important things I ever heard in my life when I was in the 9th grade, my poetry teacher, who I had all of high school, who is like the craziest woman I've ever met in my life, she sat us all down one day and started an entire lecture with, y'all, it is very important to not small, you ought not to kill small critters. And that was all she said, and then she proceeded into the lecture, and that stuck with me. And no, I ought not to kill small critters. I killed one ant one time, and it haunts me to this day. All right? Do not kill small critters. Just put it outside. Don't go on a whole Tom and Jerry-esque rampage. All right? Leave it alone. God made that creature too. You're not that special. Don't kill it. Anyway. Okay.
A legitimate crash out from Liz Brewer. I'm going to clap.
Thank you.
But okay, I am glad he pulls out the car because we get a really iconic look at how the Larry Mobile, like, you know, like the whole Larry cave.
Oh, I gasped when he revealed the plungers.
Yeah. Well, if you put the costume on to deal with the fly.
Yes, yeah. Well, he's like, well, I can't be seen as just regular Larry flying this.
This fly won't respect me.
I also love that his car turns into a plane. That's awesome. Yes. Really cool. And that he had a pre-rendered fly enemy scope on the car and plane. Excellent.
The part when, because this is the first time I had seen it, so when he like reveals the like row of plungers where like I thought we were about to get a full on like Enola Gay situation, and then I was like, oh, they're plungers. I was like, that's very funny.
Yes, and how he basically destroys his own front yard by doing this.
This is a beautiful retelling of the Icarus story. Like,
and then, I mean, obviously we got to give it up for the fly having his own lounge chair and drink ready to go.
yes.
That
I liked when he
puts
wiggled
on
his eyes at the camera.
The fainted body of LarryBoy.
the defeated body.
Archie's going to come home and be like, what happened here?
And he's going to be like, that's okay. And then he's got like some crazy thing that he was going to insert where he like took the land up anyway.
Archie just comes home after having bought a Zevo spray.
Yeah. Yeah. A little dope note because he wouldn't kill the fly. He would put it in its own little house and then like move it somewhere. Yeah. Or he would just make Larry go inside. He's got a screened-in porch ready for Larry. You ought not to kill small critters.
But yeah, I give it up for Fly By Might. I love it.
The piano, that was a great
yes.
part
the
of it.
The piano goes crazy. Like when the piano does the na-na-na boo-boo. Oh my God.
That was really good. That was very good.
I was out with that. That was incredible.
I went back and rewatched that part because I was like, oh, that's shout out on the music there. Like,
I love a plain piano accompaniment because you can do so much with it. Like not just the music, but the sound effects, like the diddle where he's walking along, like tiptoeing. Mm-hmm. I love that kind of sound effect.
It was very like the dueling duck piano scene in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
There you go. Now you got to bring it up organically.
I did. Yeah, I'm very happy about it.
For the regular podcast, she has to bring up Joseph and Lord of the Rings, but for the LarryBoy podcast, it's Roger Rabbit.
It's going to be Who Framed Roger Rabbit, yeah. Yeah, also a great parody of cartooning.
Yeah. So LarryBoy and the angry eyebrows. How do we feel?
I loved it.
Yeah,
I really loved it.
I loved it as well. I thought it was a great episode. This is only like the second or third episode of the show I've watched, so definitely want to watch some more.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to watch some more.
Yeah, they're all pretty good. My only kind of critique is this is where you start to see the mission drift a little further.
Yeah, I think the part of me that's like, you know, of course, like, this episode is like stuck with me, and there's parts of it that I still, you know, recall to this day and like reference to this day. But it's also like having watched, you know, recently because of this show, you know, having watched every episode in order all the way up to here, it feels different, and there's like that part of me that's like, it's almost like watching a new episode of SpongeBob where it's like, it's still SpongeBob, there's still funny parts, it's not the SpongeBob I grew up with, and like that's fine,
Yeah.
but I kind of like the vibe's different, and the part of me that's just like really dedicated to the nostalgia of what I know came before. You know,
As an outsider, I did feel kind of the same way. I was like, I recognize this vibe is like a little bit off.
Yeah, but I also kind of like, I still have a lot of nostalgic value for this one because I did, watch it when I was younger. And I kind of like that, like, I don't necessarily think it's bad that they wanted to make their content a little bit more like palatable,
Television friendly.
yeah. I think they still teach good moral lessons with it, even when they don't necessarily mention the Bible or anything. Like, I feel like they do a lot of work to kind of like do things that kids are definitely going to find funny, but they also put a lot of work into like making references to superheroes that parents probably know more.
this one definitely
kids.
felt the most made for children.
Yeah. And like, even though the animation was really dynamic and energetic, like it did feel like very Wheel of Morality, turn. What is the lesson that we are to learn today?
Yeah.
Kind of, like just we have to get just so that we can say that it's still Big Idea and still VeggieTales.
Yeah.
We have to wedge a moral into
And then
it
there's
still.
the part of me that's like a little sad that I didn't get to do like, 60 pages of reading to like pick apart, and then I'm like, I just, I'm busy. I can't be doing that. But there's a part of me that was like, oh, it's just a LarryBoy episode. Okay. I don't have to like spend 6 hours at the library. At the same time, I was like, oh, I wish I could have spent 6 hours at the library. Like,
I've got my card now.
yeah.
There was time now.
Yeah. I had a full week off and no reading to do.
One final thought I have about it is that I did think it was really, really funny that they were like, well, we can't really like depict cartoon violence. Like, that's not our vibe. So we have to say random acts of angriness.
I did like that a lot. I would say like that when I read through the transcript at the beginning where it says, every time I read cheesed, I read it as chesed, which is kindness in Hebrew. Which made it, I realized that was just like me not paying attention to what I was reading. And I was like, you've just been chesed, what? Like, which was fun for me.
Alfred, I've been cheesed.
2 of our listeners.
I did see that this was one that has been remade in the new LarryBoy series. From the preview I saw, Laura is there, Pa Grape is there, Madame Blueberry is mayor again.
There's a 3D Awful Alvin.
3D Awful Alvin.
Wow.
And it's a little weird, but,
Huh.
They didn't change the design that much.
it seems like they made some seems like the changes were fairly minimal other than just adding more of the iconic characters of VeggieTales into it and making it 3D, of course.
I believe that's the VeggieTales show that Phil Vischer was involved in writing. Phil Vischer and Mike Naraki were both involved with that one. Oh, I've seen it.
Okay.
It's Liz just showed me
3D
3D
Awful
Awful
Alvin.
Alvin. How do you feel, Liz?
I think he's still adorable.
Still a fan.
Yeah, I think he's still, I like his little arms. I think he's still super cute.
If I don't watch the whole episode, I want to see, are they going to have, does he do the evil dance or the villainous dance of villainy?
Is Lampy in it? Do we still have Lampy?
Oh, yeah, we still have Lampy.
Can I see Lampy?
I want to see 3D
thank
Lampy for
God.
sure.
Yeah, no, Lampy's still there. As long
I
as,
was worried.
as long as Lampy's there.
Well, Gavin, Carson, thank you both.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you for
thank
coming
you for
back.
having us.
Yes,
Carson,
this was
thank you
so
for coming.
much fun. I love listening to you guys talking to people about the show that meant a lot to me when I was growing up, and it's nice to get to talk to people about VeggieTales. So thanks for having us.
Yes, this week's this conference with the ambassador has concluded, but in
Yes.
future,
Yes.
feel free to notify us for a future vegetables conference, ambassador.
Yes.
Yes.
Anytime you need me, just I'll answer on my mop.
put up the Larry signal.
It's been a great meeting of United Produce.
And instead of saying, God, well, to end this podcast within the podcast,
To end this mini limited series.
podcast,
Yeah.
we should say, dance with me, Lampy.
Dance with me.
Dance with me. And now that we're outside of this podcast and our main podcast,
Remember,
God made you special,
and he loves you very much. Goodbye.
Bye.